Well, economists expect this year's shopping sales to set another spending record. In fact, the National Australia Bank is predicting $1 million a minute will be spent across Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So what do all your online shopping orders look like behind the scenes when supply chains are at breaking point at the moment? Peter Jones is Managing Director of Prological Consulting and joins us now. Welcome to TickerNews today.
Oh, good afternoon, Adrian. It's great to be here with you.
So tell us, in terms of what we're seeing, analysts are predicting a $5 billion splurge over the next 4 days. Those numbers are eye-watering. So that's just in Australia. But what does this spike in demand mean for the global supply chains? We know they're pushed to breaking point at the moment.
Look, the global supply chain and what's happening in the short term within an Australian context and in other parts of the world that get involved in Black Friday and Cyber Monday are slightly disconnected, because today we're buying product in Australia largely from Australian online retailers, albeit there is some international. But if we focus initially on the domestic scenario, the product that we're buying today actually got imported into Australia last month, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. And so that was already here. One of the challenges is, because we know international supply chains have been so disrupted, not everything that was forecast by the Australian retail marketplace has actually arrived here. So one of the first things is the market offering is smaller than what it would otherwise be because of this global disruption.
So what are you seeing when it comes to these sales? I mean, we know what's happened over the past 18 months or so. You know, we're at the end of the year. It seems to be growing. They're saying it's a longer period of time. What are you watching and seeing here with some of these numbers?
Look, yeah, last year there was Australia Post delivered nearly 6 million parcels between Black Friday and Cyber Monday alone. This year, they've put on 30% more processing capacity. That's represented by 5,000 extra people that they've brought on in recent times to deal with what is happening over these few days and then the lead up into Christmas. 1,000 extra drivers. So that's enabling them to what we call double shift and triple shift the trucks. So instead of a truck working 10 hours or 14 hours for the day, they're bringing in other people to drive that truck during the night and doing work during the night. And they've also brought in another 3,000 people to be doing parcel sorting to try and ease the backlog that Black Friday and Cyber Monday is creating, and also to be able to get it into those trucks where they've built that extra capacity through those additional people. So it's very, very significant what's going on and the impact it's having on supply chain.
Are we set up for this? Because I think about, people buy a lot of stuff. I'm sure a lot of that gets sent back. People sort of think, oh, this isn't exactly what I needed. How does that have an effect? Like, are we in a good position to sort of manage all of this, or is it really pushing our limits?
Look, I think there are two realities here. One is that these sorts of events are now part of just what are going to happen every year.
Sure.
And I dare say it's going to continue. We're not going to go backwards in terms of our online purchasing, and events like Black Friday and Cyber Monday, they're here to stay. The other side to that is that those factors have grown much faster than the industry has been able to keep up. And so what we're seeing as a result of that is a lot of disruption within the supply chain sector. A couple of quick examples of that are Amazon they're building a new facility in Perth in Western Australia for a market of about 2 million people. They're spending, an estimation, given the size of the building, somewhere around $40 to $50 million putting a warehouse in. And the sole reason for that warehouse is because they can't trust the Australian supply chain industry to be able to service that market from the East Coast. Now, 5 years ago, for this profile of ordering process, that would have been unthinkable company to go and spend that much money on infrastructure in Perth for those reasons. But now Amazon has taken the decision that the supply chain industry is not going to keep up with us, so they're making decisions so they've got greater control. Another example is that Kogan in the last few months has been trialling their own delivery fleet in Melbourne, and they've announced now that they're going to roll that out across Sydney and Brisbane as well. And again, that is because the supply chain industry has not been able to keep up with what they believe their customers are expecting. So they're making big decisions to take things into their own hands. And then on the other side of it, the more traditional marketplace that supports this, I've just quoted a couple of figures from Australia Post. Many other supply chain companies are making similar sorts of changes, trying to get ahead of this curve. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of years, because I doubt that the supply chain industry will fully get on top of this quickly, albeit there's now a strong recognition this is here to stay. And so there are issues that have to be resolved.
Yeah, I think that's the pertinent point. You made a number of them, but we're not going backwards. We're certainly, it is here to stay, and it's going to get bigger and bigger. That's amazing times to be in. Thanks so much, Peter, for your time today and some of your insight. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Adrian. Have a good afternoon.
You too.